Going to try out Main Street Cafe, but check out this view. Good morning. I just arrived at the pool. I'm gonna go have myself a quick shower. And conveniently too, they have a library attached to it. So I'm gonna leave Revelstoke for a few days, and boy oh boy, Revelstoke, you sure did steal this girl's heart and soul. And I will be back very shortly. I was gonna flip a quarter to figure out which direction I was gonna go, but I'm actually gonna go both directions. So I'm gonna take off from here to my right from Revelstoke and head to a new spot. And this kind of came up because I'm gonna go and see somebody. Seeing as I've already filled up my tank, I should fill up Lars's tank too. So I thought it'd be wise, seeing as it is that time of year when the snow was coming down, especially on those higher mountains, that I should check the webcams to see what I'm dealing with. I do have one mountain pass I need to go over, which is Rogers Pass, and sure enough, it has snowed up there. The roads look a little slushy, but not bad, so I think I'm gonna go ahead on this adventure. I've arrived at the Wild Horse River Panning Reserve, just outside of Fort Steele, British Columbia. I'm here to get my gold panning on, but I can't be a gold digger if I don't have a gold pan. Off to the local store I went to get me a kit, conveniently located just up the road from the site. I also came to meet my friend. They have finally left on their winter adventures, so I decided to meet them part way so we could do something that we had discussed, which was gold panning. So we'll be meeting up a few times throughout the winter to do some gold panning together, I'm sure. And I've never done it myself. It's something that's always been an interest to me, but I've never done it, and here's the opportunity to do so. So yeah, I am just a learning. I know nothing about nothing. I have only watched a few videos, and I also have a handy dandy little book of gold panning here in BC. I'll show it to you in a little while. This whole area here is so rich in gold mining history. I haven't had the opportunity to read up too much about it, but maybe I'll get the chance and share a little bit more. I do know that Fort Steele is not too far away from us, and it was a posts for the RCMP, if I'm not mistaken. And I should check on that to make sure I'm giving you accurate information. Some of the spots you want to look for when you're panning for gold is... So as the river comes down, you'll want to look in front of big boulders. Those are good deposits. Across over there on the other side would be a good spot too, because the water is slowed down compared to the rush down the middle here. You can also dig around bedrock, any obstructions, like trees, roots, the inside bends of streams, creeks, and rivers, on the gravel beds and below them. There are many places throughout BC that have public reserves, like the one that I'm on. So just Google search it and you'll find them. I also have the book that I'm going to be showing you that gives a little bit more information to you of other places that you can go. Like I said, it's all through British Columbia. I'm sure all over the place, but I only know BC. This is also not the right time of year to be doing so, though you can do it any time of year if you so choose, just like I am, because I'm still learning and trying to figure it all out. But after spring freshet, as the water levels start to drop, that is when you would want to start your digging, because the force of the water from the spring runoffs is what helps push the gold back down into the rivers. Anyways, just a few little tidbits that I'm also learning. So the river is just over here. I decided to pick this area to do my digging. Reason being is when the waters are running high, this is an area that the water would be coming through, and also possibly depositing some gold, tucking in behind the rocks through here or along the water's edge. So I decided to stay on the inner side of this bench, and I'm going to dig in around this rock here. So I'm just going to clean up some space so I can see some sand. There we go. That looks pretty good. So we got a good amount here. We're gonna head to the water and shake it up. Okay, so that's the first process of getting down to the nitty-gritties. So of course I used the classifier over top of my pan and shook out all the sand and everything down to the pan, which helped get rid of all the big rocks. That's how I was able to throw into the creek. So what I was doing the rest of the time was just shaking it, stop, then you dip it into the water a few times, and then you bring up some more water, shake it, drop. So all your light stuff's going to come to the top and just float off. So gold is actually the heaviest of the metals, so it's going to sink right to the very, very bottom. So you hope. Anyways, and you want to have probably about like a quarter of a cup of sand down the end. And now we are going to look for the black sand, which is more of an iron base. And in that, you'll probably see a little bit of galena sparkle in there, and possibly some gold flakes. So let's see what we find. So these ridges in the pan are actually supposed to collect any gold. It should not go past that. And I just kind of want to shake the sediment down to that corner. And then we're just gonna give it some swirls here. Okay, so that looks like a piece right there. Over here I got some smaller little ones. And the black sand is usually where it's in and around. That's where the iron is. So we'll do a little bit more shaking of that in a moment. But I'm going to grab the snuffer bottle and collect up these little pieces here. So here's your snuffer. And you're going to squeeze it so you get some air in there. And you make sure you got a little water over where you want to snuff up there. And it's just like a vacuum. Sucks it up. So I've done a few more pans and found a couple more flakes, but nothing like that first pan that I showed you. Gonna go move along to another spot along the river here and see what we find there instead. It is a process for sure. I'm most definitely making it big. Have found a few flecks so far. And like seriously, you get to enjoy this beauty. Like this is incredible. Very therapeutic, I have to say. And it's a little rewarding when you see a little gold fleck in your pan. Can't wait to find a nugget. Here is the book. I think it is a great book for any beginner like myself. Tells you about the essentials, where to search for gold, equipment that you need, safety regulations, all that kind of good stuff. It is broken down into regions. I did notice they do not have the East Kootenays in there. So where I've been gold panning, it does not exist in this book. And it is broken down into stars on how difficult it is to get to the mining sites. So 1 would be easy, 2 would be, moderate, and 3 would be difficult. It gives you instructions on how to get there and all kinds of information of what was going on around that area at the time and hazards to look for and avoid, and oh my gosh, just a great book full of information. So yeah, if you want one, this is it right here. I noticed on Google Maps that there is a historical site not too far away from here. So during the stay here, gonna have to go check that out and see what it's all about. Welcome to the historic site of Fisherville. It was the first city of the East Kootenays, with its riverbeds littered with gold. 1,000 miners arrived in the fall of 1864. It then boomed to a population of 5,000. You would find 6 general stores, 4 saloons, several restaurants, a brewery, and hundreds of miner shacks and tents. By 1865, the city seized as fast as it boomed. The accessible gold had been mined, and the word was out that strikes are happening elsewhere along the Wild Horse River. Eventually, Chinese miners came along and worked the abandoned mines. The once city of Fisherville evolved into a Chinatown. Wow, the view they had here. Absolutely beautiful. We are walking past the orchard that a man named Dave Griffith planted back in 1872. That was almost 150 years ago. Wow. Possibly making them the first apple trees to ever be planted in the West Kootenays. Yet after all these years, they fight to survive through the winter snow load and the bears climbing in them for the fruit. Oh, to the mighty apple trees. So I noticed walking by these plastic bags in the tree. So I take it they are grafting it. It's pretty cool. We'll have to go see where the stairs go in a moment. This is pretty cool. Always amazes me on how chimneys always seem to last forever. Quite the construction on that. Well, that took us nowhere. There's some really cool rock work here too. Little steps. I noticed some over here too. So they had a nice little rock garden here. It was quite the thing back in those days. Oh, the shooting of Tommy Walker. Interesting. 350 meters to go. These rock piles are left from placer miners. And what is placer mining? Well, unlike hard rock mining, which extracts from veins in solid rock, placer mining is the practice of separating gold from sand or gravel, just like gold panning. These are just done on a larger scale. Now it's only 165 meters till we get there. Couldn't read what was on the sign, but we're taking it that it had something to do with like a hydraulic pressure of water. Oh, the suspense! 150 more meters to go. And that's Ponderosa Pine. We are walking through the Chinese graveyard right now. The mounds are graves. Many bodies were sent back to their homelands, for a Chinese proverb said that one who attains honor and wealth and never returns to his original place, he's like a finely dressed person walking in the dark. Chinese miners occupied what evolved into Chinatown from the 1880s to the 1930s. Ooh, did we finally find the site of the shooting of Tommy Walker? All right. So it says just down the switchback to the left of the sign, you will find the trail to the grave of Tommy Walker. Walker was taken in one of Fisherville's most famous events, the shootout with Yeast Powder Bill. So it sounds like what happened was they got into a fight at the saloon. There was a few different guys involved. And in the end, there were 5 men who were wounded and one, well, lays to rest. So cool looking in here. And here he lay to rest. Well, you most definitely tell this isn't from the late 1800s, but it is an oldie. So we've been looking and looking for this graveyard, and my friend just happened to notice we were driving by, seeing it down there. So here we are. It is getting dark, so it kind of adds to that creepy feeling. This is pretty cool. Little turnstile to go through. Doesn't look like anything's written on the placards. I wanted to show more of me sharing the history, but every time I did a clip, I was noticing something was wrong with my mouth. Well, I thought it was a good idea to reminisce our childhood with those old-fashioned candy sticks. This was the result. You can tell which one of us sucks, and you can take that any way you want. Seeing as I mentioned it, I thought I might as well come to it. It wasn't that far away from where I was. And this also gives me an opportunity to explain a little bit of its history. Fort Steele was the first Northwest Mounted Police post in the province of British Columbia. Later became the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. It was established in 1887 by Superintendent Sam Steele, and it was built to resolve a dispute between the Kanaksa tribe, I hope I'm saying that right, and the European settlers. Unfortunately, it is closed for the season, but I do highly recommend it when it is open to come check it out. So this is what I've managed to accumulate. I know, not much. It's black sand with a few gold flecks in there for sure. I want to fill this bottle up a little bit more before I process it. So I'm going to be going to another creek and another place and do some more gold panning at some point. But I am going to get myself ready to leave this area. I've had a great time connecting with my friend. I'm sure we'll be connecting again in the next few weeks or so. And in that meantime, I'm going to go into another adventure. It is Thursday. I need to be somewhere for Saturday. It's about 6 to 7 hours drive from where I am. So I like to take my time. I usually drive 3 to 4 hours, and I like to do a few things in between. So I'm going to leave now to be able to get it all done and get to where I need to be. Until next time, take care of yourself. Enjoy your life. Bye-bye.